Today, I have an update regarding the Ken Goldin lawsuit over this LeBron James Rookie Patch Auto. For those of you that have been following my channel for quite some time, you will know this is a topic we've touched on quite a few times over the last 6 to 12 months. Today's update relates to the Upper Deck letter of authenticity and is something that I think blows the case open, at least in my opinion. I'll get to that in a sec. I want to do a quick recap first. Now, there are some things I'll probably forget to touch on, so please do check out my previous videos on the topic. I'll put, links down below. But for those of you that, haven't been paying super close attention to what went down, essentially you have these two brothers, the Spiegel brothers, put a lawsuit towards Ken Goldin and also Card Porn. And the reason why they did that was they had this LeBron James rookie card listed on Goldin's platform. Now, once that card was listed, some internet sleuths basically record some blowout forum posts from I think around 2017, and what these posts showed was that the same card had a different patch in it, and there was one in particular image that had a timestamp of 2005 that showed it had a blank white napkin patch as opposed to a piece of the Cavaliers logo like you can see on screen. And Card Porn basically picked up this story and then did a really big push to have this card taken down, because they essentially said it was photoshopped and it was patch swapped, I should say, sorry, and that the card needed to be taken down because it was fake and we don't want somebody to accidentally buy it on Goldin's platform. Now, when I first saw these posts on Blow Up myself and then also the Card Porn posts, I very much fell into the camp of this thing being patch swapped. Now, what Card Porn basically did was called Ken Goldin, pressured him to take this card down. Ken acted accordingly and took the card down. Now, some of what the lawsuit is being argued indicates that maybe Ken did something wrong when it came to that. I don't have all the information, but outside looking in, when you've got these big accounts talking about this card being patch swapped and they've got some photos that indicate it may have occurred in 2005, it's hard to sort of argue against. And yes, these businesses should be having proper policies and procedures in place to react better to those situations, but I can sort of understand why Ken would take the card down, because he's basically seeing all these posts, it looks like it's patch swapped, he sort of did what he did. Now, the reason why that's not as clear cut as what I just made out was that the brothers actually have a letter of authenticity from Upper Deck that said the card was replaced in the past, but it was in fact genuine. And, the card was taken down despite those things, right? And that's a, very important thing to keep front of mind. So essentially what happened, the card was taken down and the brothers, because they own the card, were essentially defamed in some capacity, because they have said the card wasn't patch swapped. Card Porn has basically said it is. And by Ken taking it down from his platform, it indicates that the card has questionable authentication, or questionable authenticity, I should say. So that was the reason why the brothers decided to sue Card Porn and then also Goldin. And it's a very interesting thing that I actually ended up having a complete 180 on, a few months later when, I saw this video, and that's from an individual known as Card Gems, and he put together a very interesting and compelling argument for why the card was not in fact patch swapped. And what he sort of talked to was the fact that he was somebody that was looking to chase these RPAs for a long time, so much so that he had a pretty big database of images of what these patches look like. And he obviously saw the case and thought, this is interesting. Let's see if it in fact was patch swapped. Because like I said, the brothers have this letter from Upper Deck and they say it's genuine. Card Porn's looking at a photo from the blowout forums from 2005 that looks like maybe, it was patch swapped, right? So the guy's like, let's get to the bottom of it. Now, what he sort of did to counteract the fact that he thinks it's genuine was, well, he took all these images and decided to try and rebuild the jersey that these patch windows were taken from. And the way he sort of did that was he traced out the respective Cavaliers jersey and logo, scaled it to size for the patches, and started to put all the images within the database that he had onto this jersey to try and rebuild it, to see whether or not any of the patches overlap or whether or not there's any inconsistencies. And whilst it's not a foolproof way to go about things, what he sort of assumed was, well, if the Spiegel Brothers card was patch swapped, it's probably going to overlap or not fit with how the rest of the patches were created. But what he sort of discovered, and you can check this out in my last video and then also his videos over here, was that the card fit perfectly and matched with all the others, right? It fit where it was meant to and fit how it was meant to, indicating that the card wasn't patch swapped. So that was something that, made me swing complete 180, because the information that he shared and the evidence he presented is quite damning and quite, hard to not buy into. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe the brothers have something on their hands. And what we've sort of seen come to light since, maybe give some further substance to that. I'll get to today's update in a second. The one other thing I wanted to quickly reiterate is one of the other things the brothers are arguing against is the image on the blow-up post from 2017 that has a 2005 timestamp of what their card looked like with a napkin patch. They're essentially arguing that somebody photoshopped that image. They did that to maybe try and manipulate the market in some capacity. I don't think we can get an answer on that, but I think their argument is somebody made the patch look worse so they could put it out there on the internet so that somebody could think that the patch wasn't as good, so they wouldn't actively chase it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense why somebody would Photoshop an image, but it is what it is. Now, I should also quickly say one of the other things that Card Gems highlights in his video is that the shadows on the card from that 2005 timestamp look like it was Photoshopped, right? It doesn't look like genuine shadows and all that kind of stuff. Now, I talked to that in more detail in my previous video, so please do check it out. But the thing that I think is very important that I want to touch on today, and I know it took a long time to get here, is essentially the lawsuit, right? Because now it's going ahead with discovery. They've been able to proceed, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know all the legal mumbo jumbo within that. But one of the exhibits within that legal document is what you're seeing on screen right now. And that is a letter from Upper Deck's lawyers, or an email, I should say, from Upper Deck's lawyers to the Spiegel Brothers lawyers, with Upper Deck standing by their original letter. So like I said, the card was replaced in some capacity in the past. The brothers got a letter from Upper Deck saying the card was genuine. This email from their lawyers, from Upper Deck's lawyers, says that they are still standing by the fact that that letter is real and they think the card is authentic. So as it does say here, Upper Deck reconfirms the authenticity of Mr. Spiegel's LeBron James rookie card as set forth in that letter from 2019. Furthermore, Upper Deck stands by and supports the October 16, 2019 letter from Chris Carlin and has never been retracted its support from Mr. Carlin's letter, i.e. the Upper Deck employee who wrote the letter. So I think this is a incredibly important update and is one that I think blows the case open because you've got essentially Upper Deck doubling down and saying the card's authentic. So, could Upper Deck be wrong? Sure. Could somebody from Upper Deck have been paid off? Sure. But you like to think that Upper Deck wouldn't so staunchly be standing behind a letter if they weren't confident in their own work. So it's an interesting one. I thought I'd let you guys know this thing is going ahead with discovery now, which sounds like it would be very dangerous for the likes of Ken because that basically means the lawyers can essentially see whatever it is they want to look into relating to the case, which might uncover some, unscrupulous activity. Now, it might not uncover anything, but, there's a reason why before going to discovery, people like to settle. So don't be surprised if this settles. But it's just an interesting one that you've gone from being in the mindset, or at least for me personally, being in the mindset of this thing being patched up based on that photo, from the blowout post, and sort of standing behind Ken in the sense that he's trying to protect his brand. There are so many questions being asked about this card. He can't afford to have a fraudulent card be sold on his platform. You're now being in the mindset of, well, maybe these brothers, are telling the truth and the Upper Deck letter stands. Because there was also some confusion in the past around Upper Deck retracting their letter. I think Card Porn talked to some of that in their original post as well. But now, like you can see, under oath, through their lawyers, they're basically saying this is genuine and we want to stand by it. So, a very important update, I think, to this whole situation. One other, tinfoil hat theory might be that this news around this update to the legal documents came around the time that the bubblings and the rumors started happening again over collectors looking to offload gold in auctions. Now, is that related? Maybe, maybe not, but I just thought that was worth, pointing out. But again, please share your thoughts down in the comments below. I know the recap ended up being longer than the update, but it's hard to give an update on a topic like this without going through the context. So to quickly reiterate, the brothers had a card, they listed it on Goldin's platform, questions over the authenticity was raised, card was basically taken down through pressure on Goldin, meaning from Card Porn, meaning the brothers couldn't sell it anywhere because now the card's basically defamed. They're suing Goldin and Card Porn for defamation. I think the lawsuit to Card Porn has been dropped because they can't actually serve the individual because I don't think they can identify him or prove that he is the owner of the account. But now you've got this letter from Upper Deck essentially saying we're still standing by our statement, which I think is a bit of a smoking gun. Now, there's some other things. There's like 5 or 6 other exhibits within that document. It's like a 50-page document that talks through what Discovery is going to try and do and all that kind of stuff. That's all gone over my head. So please check out Paul Lesko's updates on Twitter. I haven't seen his specifically relating to this topic. I wanted to talk to it, fresh mind. I didn't want to have any biases in my brain or anything like that. But I thought that one exhibit was very important to talk to. So As always, guys, please share your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you think I missed anything, but I think this thing is getting spicier, and the more information that comes to light, the more confident I am that the Spiegel brothers are probably going to win or get a settlement or something. So I don't even know if these guys want to settle, actually. Maybe they just want to damage Goldin and go back after him and get some sort of revenge, but we'll sort of see what happens next. But, thanks for watching. And again, I probably missed a few things, but I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.